African people, what is wrong with you all? What the heck is wrong with us all, huh? It seems to me we are suffering from a lifetime learning disability without cure. It's been centuries of suffering, and yet we haven't learned a damn thing. As it is quite obvious with the present state of Africa that we are suffering from economic, social, and political disability. With all the embezzlements in public funds by corrupt political leaders, that is becoming a high trend all over Africa. Trillions of money allegedly buried in cemeteries and private apartment buildings and properties in Nigeria. Why people are dying of hunger and starvation. Where are all the billions of dollars, pounds sterling and euros stolen from Africa by our corrupt leaders and deposited in foreign banks that we heard of, some know about, and yet none of this money is being returned back to us? And pictures of it all make headlines in social media as we continue to be the mockery of the whole world. The worst part of it, no arrests have been made so far. No arrests have been made so far for the entire whistle-blowing propaganda, and no one dares to speak up to this political thievery and oppression. We keep electing political zombies, recycled neurons with brain cluttered with thief syndrome, chronic corruption, and leaders handpicked by the West. Leaders that are loaded with inferiority complex and the slave master's paradigm. And yet we all continue to wonder why Africa as a continent and Africans as a people are not moving forward. It is time for us to ask ourselves what is wrong. What is it that we are doing as a people that needs to be corrected? Imagine we are blessed with all the natural resources in the world, and yet we are stagnant and chronically underdeveloped. Every country and foreigner is living their dreams on Africa, but Africans are being forced to live the dreams of others. What a shame. When you have leaders who have monopolistically consolidated the presidential seat as a family enterprise to be inherited by their children or by their favorite political godsons and goddaughters, irrespective of their qualification, then you know democracy has been trivialized to no effect or value. When you have leaders who send their children abroad for education because the educational system in Africa to them does not meet standard. There's no meet the standard they want for their children. Then you know we are all roasted. Leaders who come to the West for medical treatment for things as minimum as inhaling dust or having catarrh from the same road they did not build or repair for citizens. or leaders coming to the West for mainly having a nightmare because they didn't have a good night's sleep. They run down to the West with our money for treatment. Why the masses cannot afford medical treatment due to the incompetencies of these cowardly, senseless leaders we have. Then you know we are all finished. And that is the present state, the present situation of Africa we live today. Finished. Our continent is in a state of siege and critical disability by our leaders and foreign countries. If we don't want to see Africa empty soon, we all got to start building now. Now, for life is about the right to freedom or death. And social justice is never a future goal. It is now and right here to be tackled. Yes. Africa is terminally ill and needs holistic intervention as soon as possible. People, therefore, in this new day, new time and generation, the youth should stop listening to elderly foolishness of idiotically corrupt and westernly controlled, compromising leaders who have led us all to this crossroads we find ourselves today, and go out there and demand their God-given rights. For what is good yesterday is no longer good enough for today. It is their prerogative to fight for their future by taking the bull by the horn and demanding for a better Africa for themselves and for their future generation. Our leaders will never give you the privilege of basic resources. So please, stop begging for what belongs to you or praying for God to come fix things for you when God did not cause the problem in the first place. African problems are things we can fix ourselves. For God only helps those who help themselves. Come to think of it. If God did not intervene when our brothers and sisters were stolen into slavery, hanged and burnt to death, women raped and brutalized, children's hands amputated and cut off in Congo during colonization, and all the atrocities and genocides that other races are perpetuating on us from time immemorial to date, and the endless thievery that have befallen us from within and from all over the planet, from people who only see Africans and Africa as numbers and not humans, and as a refuse bin to dump diseases and perform all sorts of experiments. Then come on, you all, wake up, people. For God will not intervene now. God is not coming. He has already given us all what we need to deliver ourselves. We are the surviving force of planet Earth. As we fuel the very existence of other nations, their very source of livelihood depends on us, and yet we are poor, oppressed, and chronically stagnant. Come on, let's use our brain or take it by force. There just got to be a way to tumble these evilly corrupt leaders and stop praying and asking God to come fix schools for our children, hospitals, and bring electricity or create jobs and give us good running drinking water or whatever. God is not going to fix all these things because you have the ability to solve these problems yourself. You only pray for those things or ask God for things beyond your power to do. Yeah. Rebellion has always been the outgrowth of oppression, people. It is time to rebel against the cabals that will not let us be. Great countries like Australia, Ireland, China, Japan, and even America and India had their own share of colonization and Western intrusiveness. However, they got their shit together. What a shame. Even our leaders now run to India for medical treatment as if we have no good doctors anymore in Africa. As our doctors have been relegated to nothing by our so-called leaders. And African citizens are all flooding India in search of a better life. And when they beat the hell out of us and mistreat us, we complain and put all those videos in social media. What were you expecting to get out of India anyways? Huh? They have a population of over 1.4 billion people. And so many mouths to feed. Go read your history books and see what the relationship of blacks and Indians is like and how Indian blacks are being treated even in their own country. Not to talk of you coming from Africa to join them. Again, it is the Chinese. The Chinese have become the modern day savior of Africa. Now our resources have been siphoned away to Asia in exchange for mini bridges and railway infrastructure. As if we have no more engineers in Africa. And guess what? When the Chinese come to build such infrastructural amenity, they usually come with engineering workers from China without employing locals in Africa to work in